Good Thursday morning, everybody. How we all doing? Oh, that wasn't an earthquake. That was my foot bouncing up and down on the tripod. So today I want to do a short video, which normally when I say that, it ends up being really, really long. But I have another appointment, so it's going to be, I think, short if I ever get to it. Not political. It's going to be a little spiritual thing. I want to talk about spirit guides. I want to talk about our guides and our angels. Um, Tomorrow I will be doing political stuff because there's been a lot of developments, a lot of news, a lot of stuff. Um, and it's feeling really good unless you're Trump. And then it's feeling really bad. And I wonder how Rudy's feeling. Anyway, we'll get into that later. Let's talk about spirit guides. Let's talk about our guides, our angels, the people who are around us that we can't see. So, where this started from. Libby over at Meister Tarot. She has this amazing connection with her guides. She calls them boys. Wonder what they think of that, boys. Hey, boys. Anyway, I'm sure they're fine with it. So she posted a video where she was holding up a card, and there was a voice in the background that I think, if I remember this right, said the name of the card. I went, ooh, ooh. So she goes, she emails me and she goes, has that ever happened to you? And I go, no. I get an orb or two, but I don't get voices coming out of what? That's me kicking my tripod, sorry. I don't get voices. I'm going to shift this. I don't get voices. I don't get, anyway. So, I was thinking about it and I said, well, let me, if you want, if your boys allow and you allow, I will gladly pull some cards and see what I get with this, because I think it's a fascinating subject. My wife and I, we talk about this a lot. She's very linear based thinking. She's very scientific thinking. And she says, when we are looking for synchronicities, we'll find them because our brain is geared that way. And my brain isn't geared that way. And I go, but you're missing the spiritual aspect of the synchronicity. Adding the two and two together and hearing what the internal message is. And she goes, no, I get the, anyway, we go back and forth with that. So what does it mean when we're stringing things together? 111, or you look down at the odometer and it's got a series of numbers, or and to me it's it just reminds us that there's something else going on that I should be paying attention to. I'm on the right track. This is a positive thing, or whatever. I look at and look for the spiritual meaning in things. That allows us to stay in that spiritual realm a little bit more. And it's kind of like Tom T. Moore has this newsletter comes out, and he's on Linda's channel, Debbie's channel a lot, and he has this most benevolent outcome, and he talks about prayer a lot. And in that, when we just stop and say, let's let's have the leaders of Ukraine and Russia come to their senses, and you throw out a prayer to them, it stops the 3D world, puts it into the spiritual realm, and magic can happen. So I believe, and I choose to believe that, because I'd rather not believe that that war is going to go on forever and ever and ever. It's changing too. Another thing to read on Friday. So I want to, so that's kind of that's where I'm coming from on this. So, but just for fun, just for confirmation, not that we need it. And when I did that video for Libby, and then she talked about it, which is why I'm talking about it now to kind of clarify, because she got some of the things wrong that I said. Now, I just had that squirrel moment, and now I can't remember where I was going with this. Oh, one of the things that I said in this is, let me look into this and see if it is your spirit guides or anything. And when I said, yeah, this is just them coming out for confirmation, I said, but she doesn't need the confirmation. It's not for her. It's more of a, hey, look, there's something going on around here. It's special. And don't tell Libby this or her boys this. She's not that special. We all are that special. Okay, don't tell her I said that. However, gotta slip this in. She's been tapping in so long, and she has had that relationship that is so strong that her guides come to her, and that is special. So let's just take a look at this a little bit. And I'm joking. Libby's, you guys know, she's an amazing, amazing reader. She taps in really clearly. So I want to look at this from a couple of different points of view. I grabbed and this is kind of interesting. The deck that I was drawn to was the Dark Mirror. And I go, why am I being called to the Dark Mirror cards when I'm talking about, when with the question is, how do we allow our guides to show up clearer? Because sometimes we just hear a noise and we go, was that a word? So how do we get them to show up clearer, or how do we get them to come in a little bit? And then I wanted to use this deck, and I was also thinking, well, I could use another deck and another deck. This is the Starstream Oracle deck. And then, of course, I thought, well, let's do Galactic, the Galactic Heritage. And so as I pulled out the Galactic Heritage deck, and I'm thinking about how do we, why don't they show up so clearly? How do we get them to show up more? This is the card that popped out. Zeta Reticuli, Linear Thinking. What's it say up top? Fixley? I don't know what that says. I have to read the book on that and see what that says. But this linear thinking that we have, that A needs to follow B, or no, B needs to follow B needs to follow A, C needs to follow B, but then when we put them all together with words, they don't follow each other anymore. So, but it's still kind of a linear thinking that's keeping us trapped down into this should I say, 3D energy. So what do we need to do to kind of let that go? I'm going to pull on that later, but I want to use the dark mirror because they were the ones screaming at me right away. And so let's just look at, I'm just going to pull a series of cards with this. Come on now. And see what we get. Just see what the messages are. And I'm hearing them to do this twice. Here we go. First card. I won't cry for you, Argentina. So, what I'm hearing is our guides, they don't care. Well, they do, but it's like someone was saying something about writing a book. A lot of people are getting this message to write. And I remember being in a session with Sandra Ingerman, who is a shamanic teacher, and she was told to write a book for the first time. And she goes, well, I don't know how to write. I'm not a writer. And her guide, she channels Isis. Her guide is Isis. And Isis said to her, you don't have to. If you don't write this book, I'm going to get somebody else to write it. They have it. Whenever I tap in, there's no emotion. It's not, oh, you hurt my feelings because you didn't talk to me. It doesn't matter to them. It does, but then again, it doesn't. Sacrifice. Keep going because I'm rambling here. Sacrifice. So what's the sacrifice? To me, it's shutting up and being quiet. It's hard. I used to write, and sitting down in front of a Smith Corona Selectric typewriter. Somebody mentioned that in the comments, and I go, oh yeah. And it had the little ribbon that you could, it had the white that you could erase your mistakes. Yeah. Okay. So the sacrifice is sitting down in front of that blank page, sitting down there and letting go of this linear thinking that we've been programmed to be thinking about in this last 100 years. Before this, we were off to the races in woo-woo land. The next card, forgetting oneself. This is becoming a hollow bone. This is taking your ego off, hanging it up, putting on. I like to use when I do journeying. I like to, because this is the Bathrobe Tarot, and not that I made that name up for this, but I do put on a different robe when I walk into my journeys, when I work in my journeys. And it's either a light, I have a series of them, and it's either a robe made out of colored stars, lights, rainbows, water, whatever. I even have a gunny sack robe. Itches a lot. Sometimes I have a scratch, so I put it on. Next card. Fragmentation. Fragmentation. You know, this is all part of ourselves. It's if we're just in the 3D, we're only getting a fragment of who we are. When we go into spirit world, when we listen to our guides, that's another part of the fragment of the whole. And the last card that I'm going to pull is Masquerade. So for me, because I think that this energy needs to be light. I think we need to play in this. It doesn't need to be so serious, but it should be taken seriously, right? So, let me drop this down and you can see what I have, and you can try to string these together as you will. I won't cry for you. Sacrifice. Forgetting oneself. That's important for me. Forgetting oneself. And when I do my journeys, when I get into that quiet place, it really is a forgetting oneself, but I'm still there, but I'm a fragment of who I thought I was. And it's just fun and games. Take it lightly. Also, let's put on a mask and journey into the unknown with a mask and see what you get. I don't know. And these are just my thoughts on this. Doesn't mean anything except to me. I'm just sharing them with you, and you can make sense out of them if you want. All right. Let me pull 3 more with this dark mirror just because I don't know why. Just because there was something masked that I wasn't getting. 3 cards. Just talk to us about our guides. And the dark mirror deck is something that we don't want to look at. That is really in our reflection. What is it? Talk to us about spirit guides. Our guides and angels. What does the dark mirror have to say about why we are not accessing them clearer? And some people are really accessing them. Some people want to access them more. And I love it when they're so dang clear. Fragmentation. So when I look at this with new eyes, I see the wings. And when I looked at that, it became, to me, dragonfly wings. I like the crescent moon. It's not the light of the moon. It's not the new moon. It's still a little light. It's like we're not going to get full sun, full illumination as seeing or feeling, or it's more of a trust thing is what I'm getting. Let the linear thinking go, jump into the other fragment of who we are. Ooh. Ow. Atonement. Ow. Look, that's gotta hurt. However, there's no blood, so No tears shed there. We have so many ideas and beliefs that are stuck in our back that are keeping us from moving. Well, she can move forward with this. But it seems like there's a lot of picadillos that are being stuck in us that we need to release so that it doesn't hurt with every step we take going forward. Queen of my world. I don't know. I just love that card. Queen of my world. It's those who have been listening to me yak for a while. I'm all about this new energy that's coming in, that it's all about the divine feminine, that is taking a stronger role in balancing us out a little bit more. So this queen of my world, to me, in different cards for different people. So I've been thinking a lot about a guide who is a female energy. And this is something that Libby and I were talking about. This female energy guide who is around me. And I don't get names a lot. And I don't think that it's that important. But if you put a name to something, then it's easier to call them forward. But I don't find that it's really necessary to do that. The other thing, too, that I want to mention, if you guys are still listening, when it's super important that you ask permission to jump into somebody's energy. So just because I have this female guide, it's you can't just jump into her energy, my energy, without asking permission. It's just a little rude. So just wanted to add that out there. Let's look at some oracle cards. Let's look at these spirit guides. I'm already yakking for 23 spirit guide messages. How do we access our guides? What is something that we can do that we are not doing to access our guides a little and allow them to come up? Maybe not so much as a voice, maybe a shadow, maybe an orb. How do we know our spirit guides are around? That's a good one. How do we know that our spirit guides are around? You all read what that says? Oh. It's a new deck. So that is the back side of the deck. See, I got a broken deck. They're all the same. Divine Union. Oh, is that a spaceship up there? Ooh, spaceship. Divine Union. How do we know our guides are around? Some people believe that they can see spaceships. Other people say, no, that's just a cloud over Mount Shasta. We had some interesting things going on with Mount Shasta. Somebody said, did you see Saint Germain? And there was a couple who were hiking, and They just may have seen Saint Germain. Now, of course, some people in linear thinking land would say, oh no, it was just a hiker dressed funny. It's kind of cool. For another video or another time. Sacred lineage. That's what it says up here. Sacred lineage, divine union. So I definitely feel, and see if you guys do the same, that my guides are part of my sacred lineage. That it's part of my past lives, part of the lives. There's always a connection, a sacred connection that they've been brothers or sisters or me, right? Song of Branwen. I don't know what this means yet. Sing, what's it say? Sing even if your heart is breaking. Divine union, sing even if your heart is breaking. I can linear think this through. Let's pull another one and see if I can get some better. Soul promise, be firm in your resolve and commit. This is like staring at that blank piece of paper. Sword of truth. And there is, okay, this is pretty cool the way that I looked at this. I see a doorway here with the shadow going into the doorway. And I go, that doesn't make any sense to me. And then I figured it out. It's a square light shining on the sword. Okay, that doesn't make any sense either. Really? It still doesn't make any sense. It's the linear thinking. Just be resolved in the fact that you may not be able to understand this stuff. May not be able to understand it. May not make any sense at all. But yet, there is a little doorway that you can go in. You have a sword. Stand in it. Be strong. And have fun with it. Sing. Even if it doesn't make any sense. Sing. Even during the sad times. But this isn't a sad time. Well, maybe it is. I can't find my guides. I can't find them. Well, just sing. Maybe they'll show up then. All right. One more for the galactic. One more for the galactic. I hope I remember to put Libby's channel in the video below. Check her out. Listen to her boys talk and show themselves. Ooh, it's very cool. Very cool. Did anything pop up behind me? My heart's breaking. But I'm going to sing anyway. Okay. Galactic Heritage. I'm going to pull 3. The Galactic Heritage, for me, is a way to tap into things that are unseen, that are not yet presented to us yet, for many of us. For a few of us, they are seen. Saint Germain in Mount Shasta. Al in Mount Shasta. Okay. Galactic Heritage. What do you have to say about us having more of a connection with our spirit guides. Love these cards. Initiation and ceremony. We have to get quiet. This is the sacrifice. We have to get quiet with things. We have to be present. Look at this. Cetacean, dolphin. And even though there is a separation, we need to still be in the present moment. We can travel to the past, we can travel to the future in our minds, but our helping spirits are here in the present. Our guides are here for the present. That's where I was thinking, you know, with this whole conversation. It's not about going to the future to be a seer or in the past to be a historian. The other thing too about our guides is stop the interference. Allow them to assist without interference. We kept putting roadblocks up. We kept putting knives in our back so that we can't fully walk into this awareness. I love this card. Cetacean, dolphin. And I find with this deck, and with all decks, although I tend to read more intuitively than by the books, there are the people who wrote the books have spent a lot of time looking at a blank page and putting in the words, so I think it's important to read what they have to say. A lot of times I don't read the whole book, but I think I'm going to pull this card out and read it more because I think there's more information found in that card. And again, this deck is on an app for $9.99. It's a great app with all the information on what the cards are if you choose to get that. All right, thank you guys for watching. Thank you to my guides, my angels, to all of you, my angels. Peace and love.